And we're live, everybody. Good morning and good evening, I guess, and welcome to the All Portable Discussion Zone. It's a biweekly live stream all about portable ops. My name is Charlie, November Juliet 7 Victor, and with me today is the co-hosts of the show, Dan, KC7MSU, and Brian, W7JET. And our guest today, we're pleased to announce we have with us Robert, N3BZ. He's a new mountain goat, and we're going to have a good time talking to him about how he achieved that. And then also in the chat room, of course, we have our regular characters who will be, I'm sure, keeping us on our toes. We're happy all of you could join us. And of course, as usual, what we do is we hop right into what's been happening this week and maybe a little bit of last week and just get caught up. So let's go ahead and start with Dan. What do you got going on?
Good evening, everyone. Let's see here. I finally got my hex beam. Started working on putting that back together finally. So that's making some good progress. So I'll have that on the air this week. So hopefully I'll be able to do some chasing during the course of the week as I monitor what's going on at work. And last Saturday, we did some SOTA work on Lone Mountain. And so hope we'll be able to have some time to show some pictures of that. It was a really good activation. And we had some extra folks on the top of the hill that got involved with us.
Cool. All right. And Brian, what have you been up to?
Well, let's see. SOTA was up on Lone Mountain last week with the gang, and participated only one summit just because of my schedule. And your little marathon the other day ran up on Usery Pass over here by the house, and then today I spent my day up on my designated VHF January contest summit, where for the ARRL. VHF contest. It was a good time. Got there a little bit later than I wanted to because I had a issue in the morning before I could leave the house. So I got up there about 9:30 and ran for about a couple hours. It was a good time. Lots of contacts.
And so do you plan on talking a little bit more about the VHF contest then, if there's time?
Absolutely, yeah. And for those who are interested, there's also a nice presentation I did for the ARRL on the Learning Network. So if you remember, go check it out.
Cool. And then Dan or Brian, were you planning on talking a little bit more about that new group that you took up on the hill?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll have those, and then, yeah, what I've been up to, I haven't really done a whole lot. I usually kind of the week after the live stream, I usually kind of take a break and just kind of work on videos for the channel, and then usually a day or two before the stream, I usually get out there, and so I just created a video on the 6 peaks in 12 hours challenge I created for myself. You'll have to watch that to find out whether or not I finished it. It was quite the challenge, but the video is coming out tomorrow for the Monday Night Ham Radio. It's a what do they call it? A theme night, and then theme night's portable ops. So catch that if you will. And then here we go, Robert. What do you got for us? What have you been up to since I last talked to you, which has been about a month, I guess, right?
Yeah, we were up on. I was up on Lone Mountain with the gang. We took a nice hike up there and brought some 2-meter stuff and some new candidates for SOTA. Been working on the truck a little bit to get a little overland work done on it, and I've got some radio repair work I'm catching up on for some of the people that need some of their equipment repaired.
Cool. So let's see. You do truck work. You're a mechanic on top of everything else, then, huh?
Handyman of all trades. I do a lot of electronics, and I'm a systems engineer by trade.
Okay, cool. All right, well, let's talk about this. I want to congratulate you again for achieving Mountain Goat. It's quite the accomplishment, and I just wanted to go right out of the gate point out that if you had just not counted your first 2 or 3 activations, then you would have achieved Mountain Goat in 9 months. Am I right?
About that, yeah. I did 100 summits last year. An incredible experience that you started me out on Lone Mountain.
Yeah, I remember that first activation. That was a long time ago. We went on that, and then you did 1 or 2 others. Then all of a sudden, from when you decided you were going to go for it, and I looked at the dates, and you're being modest. It was 9 months, 9 months, and you had achieved mountain goat. Less those two or three that were kind of getting you kind of a feel for it. So very impressive. I don't know anybody else who's done it that quick. It took me a couple of years, I think. So good job.
You get the fever, and as you know, you like to get out there. And this was a kind of an off year for everyone, as you know, with some of the COVID stuff. So this was one of the activities I was able to do without being, still being conscious of the pandemic. As you start to get your teeth grown in on getting up some of these summits, you just want more and more, and then you look for a little bit more complicated, a little bit more complicated. A couple of the summits and mountains I've been on, I think I was very lucky to get up on top of, and some of them very few have visited.
Yeah, like Doyle, right?
Doyle, yes. Sitgreaves, Humphreys.
Yeah. Yeah,
quite a few of them.
You've done several that I haven't done, and I need to get on top of. Doyle looked like an impressive one. So would you come with to kind of show the crowd that's watching? Did you you said videos maybe, or do you want to hop into that, or do you want to do the interview part? What do you want to do?
We could do the interview part, and then we can see if the movies will come up all right. I've got just a picture of my kit that I could share. We can go that route if you'd like.
Yeah, sure. Let's go ahead and see what you got as far as what you use for your kit, and then I have a few questions I wanted to ask you, and then from there we'll go in and look at some of your videos.
Let me see if I can bring that up here. Does that come up?
Yep.
Let me try to. All right. So this is my typical field unit. I use a direct action backpack. It's a little heavier duty backpack than most people carry, but I find that the shoulder straps and especially the waist support really works out well. Plus the material will hold up very well with some of the more rugged terrain, like some of the lava rock stuff.
Yeah.
I also like the mole, so you can add things to it or compartmentalize what you want. Through my whole activation for GOAT, I used a FT 891 with a Buena Vista 12-ounce battery. I've got the battery here put in a Mole container, just that fit just perfect for it. Lithium batteries, you don't like to puncture them or get water or anything on them. They tend to not like that, and you really get in trouble if you don't protect them adequately. My antenna system, I used just a regular tap dipole. Worked out very well. Flexible J pole here, and just a power cord. I went to SMA connectors after a while, so I'm still experimenting with those. Those seem to work fairly well. Plus some RJ174 for the feed line. I think that short links of that work out just fine, especially for HF.
Yeah, for sure.
And a Linko for the 2 meter stuff and the 1296 stuff. I carry around a Yagi if I think I'm going to do a lot of 2 meter work, so I just bolt that on the bottom. I like a tarp, taking a tarp with me for thorny areas, rocky areas, hot areas, cold areas, especially with areas with a lot of ladybugs. It goes over them quite nicely, and you can work a little bit more comfortably and effectively.
Yeah, I carry a
Uh,
tarp with me too, and those ladybugs. It's strange here in Arizona, but you get on top of a peak, you can find thousands of them. Just they get on all your gear and everything, don't they?
Millions,
Yeah.
sitgreaves, millions of them. Both of the squaw, little squaw and squaw, millions of them at the top. I really didn't believe that was possible when I first was hearing the stories out of some of the SOTA crew. But man, when I first got up on Little Squaw, I think it was, there it was. I couldn't believe they're just crawling over everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've even brought
Uh,
quite a few of them home from time to time, especially off Pinal.
yeah, you got to dig them out of your pack, the ones that didn't survive the trip.
Yep.
Uh, First aid kit. I believe to carry enough first aid with me to get me back down the hill to the truck.
Good.
And then I carry a lot in the truck to then get me to wherever I need to go if there's some issues or problems that might arise. I was very lucky last year. I only took one fall on White Horse where my wrists swole up like a bowling ball, but
Huh.
I was able to tape that up and not too many problems.
White Horse of all peaks, that one's not that tough. You must have just really caught a rock wrong on and slid or something.
Yeah, I was trying to do a Charlie double activation, going up
Oh.
a White Horse and coming back down the other side and then doing the
Yes.
other one.
Oh,
But
okay.
that one side coming down, it can be a little rough.
It was sketchy. Yep.
Uh, I like to carry. I carry a Garmin 66. I like that. I can send SMS messages. I can send alerts or spots out if the phone isn't working.
Yep. I love mine too.
Um,
Totally endorse that
Yep.
for sure.
Plus, you got an SOS in case you really need to get in trouble. So my wife required me to carry that with me since I do most of the activations solo. I like this setup here. If you can see, this is my charging system. I carry a USB with 4 or 5 adapters that, or 4 or 5 different plugs that are simultaneously activated, so I can charge my phones, the Garmin, I can charge up the camera, I can charge up the HT if I need to, either when I'm hiking or when I'm on top of the hill. This little gadget right here does the conversion from 12 volt to 5 volt, and then you just pull this off of here and you plug in the USB connector.
Cool.
Lights are incredibly important if you're going to do any of the longer hikes. I carry 3, 2 flashlights and a headlight just in case. Coming back from Doyle, I only had 2 lights, and I had one that went out on me, and it was so incredibly dark. I was kind of nervous and very happy to get back to the truck because it was so dark you couldn't even see the trail if you didn't have a light. Always good to have extra lights, and I carry these walking poles. These are the Black Diamond. I think everyone should be carrying these things. These things are the greatest thing for not only going up the summits, but especially coming back down the summits. These things have saved me more than a couple of times for some really bad falls.
Yes.
Whatever, this is a telescopic antenna pole that I carry. It's a little larger than some of the smaller ones, but it works out real well. And if you're going to really be doing this SOTA stuff, a good set of boots, not tennis shoes, but good hiking boots to support your ankles and
Yeah.
stuff, so you don't fall or get hurt.
Yeah. Good pair of Keens.
That Yeah, those weren't too expensive, and they've held up for more than 100 summits. It really worked out well, and they're not that heavy. So anyway, that's my basic setup that I use. Carry some miscellaneous adapters and some other pieces of equipment, but that's what I'm usually carry as a core outfit, same as
Okay.
anybody else.
Can we go back to your antenna real quick? It looks interesting there,
Sure.
and I want to actually ask a little bit more about it. So you got it on a clipboard there. I mean, on a cutting board. It looks like, right?
This is a piece of PVC foam you can get from Home Depot or something. It weighs nothing.
Oh, it's foam. Okay.
It PVC foam.
Hmm.
It's somewhat hardy. It holds up for the most part. I put my dipole on this so I can deploy it quickly, and I can put it away quickly. It doesn't tangle. It doesn't stress out the cable at all.
Yeah.
It's really a necessity, I think, that really you can deploy without spending 5 or 10 minutes trying to untangle your gear.
Yeah, tangling is always a mess when you get your antenna tangled, for sure. So what is it, a link dipole then with what, 20, 30, 40, or what do you what do you have there?
Yes, 10, 20, 40 link dipole.
10, 20, 40. Okay. All right, cool. And then you made that, it looks like, for sure, huh?
Yes, I make all my own antennas for the most part, and
Good.
also my cables. I'll put my own connectors on the cables just so I ensure that they're not going to fail on me, or if they do, I can just blame myself.
Yeah. Cool. All right. And in the chat room, is there any other questions you have on the gear before we move on to other stuff, or Dan or Brian?
I don't see anything in the chat room. So, Robert, how long does it take you to typically put together one of your link dipoles? And what do you like to use for the connections in between? I hear lots of different people using different items to make their connections.
You can make one in a day. I use the quick terminal connectors. Just pry them apart, push them back on. Some people like alligator clips. Some people like other type of connectors. I just go with the quick disconnect connectors. I've got a video here that I can show you that might explain it a little bit better. And then I use a piece of, again, the PVC foam for mounting the quick disconnects on. It's all lightweight material, so it doesn't weigh down the line too much. I use a little thicker cable for the antenna. I find that the smaller stuff is more susceptible to fraying or breaking, especially during high winds, or if your telescopic pole falls over and it yanks all the cables out. I'm sure we've all been through that once or twice. The thicker cable, I can put a little bit more tension on it if I'm going to string it up between pine trees. It holds up very well. I tried some thinner type of wire, but it seemed not to hold up. I'd have problems with it fraying or breaking.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a fan of the alligator clips myself, but
Yeah, I used automotive blade connectors on mine.
Yeah, all good stuff. Whatever you prefer.
All right. Okay. So the next thing, well, the question I always ask, or I try to ask when we get into things, is how did you get involved in Summits on the Air? But I think right now is a good time maybe to talk. Since I already know the answer to this, Robert, it's a good time to talk about one of the things that I am near and dear to. Let's get JT 6188's question out of the way. It says, what size are you using, 18 gauge or 20 gauge?
I believe it was an 18 gauge.
Okay, cool. So something that a mantra that I have, or I guess a belief that I have, is that it's really important to give back to the SOTA community, and one of the best ways that you can do that is to take people on a summit for their first activation. And that kind of answers the question. I already know the answer to the question, how did you get started on SOTA? At least part of it anyway, Robert. But I thought now's a great opportunity, since I think all three of you were recently involved in an excursion in which you did just that. So, Robert, why don't you first? I'm interested to find out if what your opinion is about what I just said. How important is it to go with somebody on your first activation rather than trying to just figure it out all on your own? So let's start with Robert, and then just talk about that first activation that you went on with me, and what your impressions were. And then either Dan or Brian, you guys jump in here and talk about, and Robert, and we could talk about what took place here a week or two ago when you guys did your activation. Let's just take that, talk about that right now. So go ahead, Robert.
I think it's extremely important that we get out into the community and local ham clubs and advertise what SOTA is and what you can do with SOTA. SOTA's, I think, one of the best combinations when it comes to ham radio, physical activity, and actually getting out and practicing that. You need to understand both the radios, batteries, antennas, and how to get out the field and set it all up. As you know, that you came on to SARC or the Superstition Club that one time and said, I'm Charlie, and anybody that's interested in SOTA, come on out. I'd seen a couple of SOTA presentations already, so that's another way to reach out to everyone to get them involved. You were there. You offered to bring us up on the mountain. You brought us up on the mountain. I could tell already that I wasn't in good shape enough. So by the time we get done with the Lone Mountain trip, I was very conscious of how out of shape I was for SOTA work. So I worked on that.
Yeah, you lost
I think
a
it's
lot of
very
weight.
important. I started out at about 240, 245. I'm about 190 right now,
Wow.
and maintain that. And
Congratulations.
SOTA, I think, is also a life-changing event where you can keep in shape and take some of that Pennsylvania fat, winter fat off your body.
Yeah.
I walk on a regular basis now with a pack to keep myself at least in semi-shape for some of these longer walks on the SOTA activations. Good stuff.
Cool. All right. So what's this whole story you guys got for us about something that happened here recently? Brian, why don't you start us out?
Well, let's see. Well, we did our club started basically. Dan kind of revitalized it the SOTA Saturday. So years ago, and really it is years ago now. It's hard to think about that. When I was first I got active in SOTA, and actually I think it's about the time that you got on board with everything. You weren't quite the goat yet, right, Charlie?
Yeah.
We started doing once a month on a Saturday. We started doing a thing called SOTA Saturday, where we just pick a summit that was relatively easy to access. People of medium physical ability could get up on top of the thing, and we'd go and do one. And we started with Lone Mountain. That was the first one. And I think we had, on that particular day, we had a good number of people up there. We had about 8 people. In fact, that was Dan's first activation, KC7 MSU. And we had a lot of fun. It kind of blossomed from there. And I think we did a total of 6 summits, maybe or so that year. And then my job changed, and I was gone on every other weekend. So giving up one of my weekends at home to lead a group up was not totally approved by the chief executive officer of my ham shack. So had to kind of back off that for a little while. But Dan brought it back out, and we had a lot of fun. It wasn't a huge group, but we had a lot of traffic. This summit normally doesn't have a lot of people on it, but apparently the pandemic, everybody discovered it, and it was busy. There was a lot of people that came on and off that summit all day. So I'll let Dan continue on with the rest of the story, because he really he played a big role in the other part of it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun once we got on top. So matter of fact, Charlie, I've got some photos and stuff like that if you want to run through those.
Yeah.
And let's see here if I can remember to share my screen. So let's see here. Did that come up yet?
There it is.
All right. So we hiked up Lone Mountain last Saturday, and we had quite a few questions. We ended up with one new SOTA person to take up from our club, Jim Lana and K2JNL. So this was going to be his first activation but this is a snap on the way up the mountain. It looks pretty nice out. Even though we haven't had much rainfall, it's pretty nice and green. The hill is pretty easy to follow along, and it's in pretty good shape. And this is another view looking as we were going up the trail. And this is Jim, and then Brian, and then Robert there in the background. So this is, we got a nice sunrise photo out of this. We got there just in time. We kind of hung out here for a little bit and oohed and ahed as the sun came up. A lot of really great views of the superstitions in the background.
That's pretty cool. So was it just the three of you, Dan?
It just ended up being the three of us. There was some chatter of folks that wanted to go, but ended up having other things to do on this Saturday. So we'll do this again here in the near future. So it's a good hill to do, and we might try another hill or something. But
I guess I
this
should
is pretty
say
fun to look at it.
The four of you,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. And as Brian said, when we were up at the top, there was quite a bit of foot traffic from a lot of other folks, and quite a few kids up on the hill. Didn't get as many photos of all the kids operating as I wanted, but this young man was pretty happy to operate, so he was on there for a few minutes. We had some great folks on the far ends helping us out, talking to all these people.
Wait, so are you saying that you just took random people who are up on the hill and turned the radio over to them with your call sign?
Sure did, and they did a great job, and they were pretty enthusiastic about it as well. So this is another way to give back to the ham community, try and get some other folks interested in it. This young man, his mom got on there as well with Lynn and had a pretty extensive conversation. So she was pretty thrilled as well. She had a good time on there.
I believe he was special needs too, right, Dan?
Yes, he was. Yep.
Yeah, so it was a really big deal for him. He had a huge smile on his face.
Yeah. So that's another photo of him as we were kind of getting ready. And then we had to spice the hill up a little bit. So this is Brian doing his calisthenics up on.
Oh, pretty sexy, Brian.
Yeah, doing well. I mean, I don't fill out a pair of yoga pants quite that well, but gotta do the summit pose.
And this is my summit pose, not quite as graceful, but I have no idea what I was doing.
Looks like you're walking like an Egyptian.
Yeah, he does.
Steve Martin activity there. And there's our group photo while we were up there.
Well, this guy was lucky. He had three, I guess you would say, experienced SOTA guys to go with on that activation. Pretty cool.
That was a lot of fun.
And he got a DX contact on his first activation.
Yeah, he got France.
Foxtrot 4, Whiskey
France,
Bravo,
yes.
November.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he's always there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to, kind of help him out a little bit too, and help him to kind of, get into his cadence as far as how he liked to operate and stuff and things like that. So I'm looking forward to taking him out again and trying another hill in the near future. So he really enjoys operating on HF.
Cool. All right. Well, is that the last picture then for you, Dan?
That's the last picture. Yep.
Okay. Well, let's do this then. Robert, give us your impressions then of that activation, and then roll into telling us about your activation when you became a goat. So first, last impressions on whatever you have to add about this activation, and then tell us about the one in which you were achieved goat.
Oh, I enjoyed this activation last Saturday with the gang. It's always nice to go with a group of people on a activation. Usually, I do mine solo, so this is one of the few ones that I've done with other SOTA gang along for the ride. Good walk up, a lot of good conversation, a lot of good technical talk about SOTA. Got to the top, just a real clean setup. Got him right on the air. He was very happy. A little skittish to start with, but that's the way it always usually is. He was very happy for the DX contact and to be able to learn about the antennas and how they're made and how they work. Also, we were up there with a 2-meter Yagi and was able to get some good local contacts, which I like to try to do to give back to the Phoenix guys.
So was this guy? How much experience had he had previously, as far as just generally for ham radio? Had he done anything with VHF or HF before this?
Relatively new. So he's kind of me 10 years, 2012, really got back into the hobby. So had knowledge, but didn't have any real recent practical experience. So he was still, he knew what was going on, but it took him a little bit to get his legs underneath him. But once he got it, he was going just fine.
Cool.
He's still kind of working on his home station. I've actually been emailing back and forth with him, trying to help him out with some stuff. And he's not a new ham, but he's a new returning ham, I guess would be a good way of describing him.
Cool. All right, Robert, tell us about that activation where you became GOAT.
Oh, I became GOAT.
Yeah.
I went up on Mount Doom. That's
what is it called
up near
again?
the Sunset Craters. Mount Doom.
Okay. Hey, Dan, you can stop sharing your screen, by the way.
Oh,
Mount Doom is up near where the Sunset Craters are in the volcano park.
North of
But it's
Flagstaff.
over. Yeah, it's east of the craters, so it's one of those less visited volcano summits that people don't visit too often. I guess it's an 8-pointer.
Well, what
I
better
climbed
name
up
to
on-
have as a summit which you receive GOAT as Mount Doom? That's awesome.
I saw the name. I saw the name. I said I got to do it from Mount Doom. It just sounds too cool to get GOAT from Mount Doom. It's not. Doesn't look like Mount Doom, but it's a pretty good size volcano formation. Very gradual, long walk up to the top of the summit.
Is that
Able
the
to set
one-
up and then activate.
Is that the one where you sent the picture that I have for the card of the thumbnail for this live stream?
No, that's SP. That's over above the Valley of the Five in
Okay.
an area called that I called 8 of 8.
Uh-huh.
8 summits of 8 points. That's an amazing cinder cone with the volcano trail flow off to the side of it. Just an incredible experience to get up on that one.
Cool. Well, so when you were on top of Mount Doom, how was it then? Did you get a lot of chasers then?
Yes, I got quite a few. Let's see, 56 contacts, quite a few, more than several DX. A lot of the regulars, which I was really happy about because they're the ones that participated to help me get to being a GOAT.
Who are your regulars?
It was a beautiful Mary, Gary, or Martha and Gary,
Right.
Keith, Tom, some of the Phoenix guys. I got 2 guys out of France. He's always there, and another contact out of New Zealand that usually I hook up with.
Cool.
BYZ.
Mm-hmm. It was a perfect day. I think Dan had a recording of my activations, which I was happy for. I keep that close by, and I always like to listen to that every once in a while.
Cool.
yeah, that was kind of fun being able to record that. So Charlie recorded parts of mine too. So it's a lot of fun to be able to do that. So I'll have to keep that in mind when other folks get their GOAT here in Arizona. We'll have to try and record that for them.
Yeah, that's neat.
I even got a contact with Dan, summit to summit.
Awesome.
I think I worked that day. I'm trying to remember why I wasn't able to play in the fun.
Well, it comes and goes like that, right? So, Robert, what's your favorite peak then that you've done over these last 9 months or whatever it is?
Ooh, ooh. Each peak has its own flavor to it. You can't just have one. It's whatever challenges at the time. I liked Sitgreaves. That was a good challenge. I liked Doyle. That was a longer challenge. It was like 20 miles. I liked Kendrick's. I guess I'm starting to like some of the more longer journeyed ones that are less visited. I liked a lot of the summits that are over in Springerville. I call that almost a SOTA playground. I like the summits out there a lot.
Oh yeah, N1CLC,
Yeah.
that's his playground right there.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
real
I
pretty.
think my first favorite one was A1 when I was just starting to start out. I thought that was an amazing summit to do, to get up on the top of that with the horseshoe and walk around and see the sights. I think that really did it for me, at least as far as wanting to get it done. And I had no plans to really complete it in a year. It just worked out that way. I first talked with my wife, who I want to thank also for being so cooperative with me, going out on the weekends to do this. She has her hobbies. I have mine, and we talked about it. My original goal was only for 500 points the first year, but
Well, you blew
I
that
got
out of
to
the water.
500 points fairly
Yeah.
quickly. Yeah. And I
was
said,
gonna say,
well,
you lapped that one.
well, honey, maybe 800, and then I'll quit. We got to 800, then Dan got his. I said, I've got to get it done. It's not that much work.
Yeah,
So
when you reach 800, you can smell it, and there's just no stopping you.
oh, there is no stopping you. You're living it. You're thinking it. You just want to get it done. It's kind of interesting that you start to run out of summits when you do a lot of them in a year, and that's, I think, forced me to start to branch out from the standard summits that are very popular to some of the less visited ones. Pete, he's
Yes.
been everywhere.
WA7JTM.
Him.
Yes.
Yes, he activated a lot of these, and I find that following his footsteps on some of them are incredible. SP, like you saw the picture here, just an incredible to get up on the top of that, and then to see the sunken cinder cone. It's just an incredible experience. I had a good experience with like Black Mountain. It's not really picturesque, but the things I had to fight to get up to the top of that thing, the lava stone, the gravel, the angle of trying to get up there, and the wind was just blowing me, this way and that. And when you finally reach to the top of that thing, and the winds are coming up the mountain, it's an incredible experience just to find some place to set up on the activation zone, to be able to activate it.
Yeah. So let's do
Especially
this.
late in the year, it gets the wind and it's cold, number one, and then it's really windy up in Flagstaff towards the end of the year, and it's difficult to get all set up and have everything stay set up so you can actually activate.
Yeah. Let's. There's a question for you, but we're gonna get to that in just a minute, and that's what peaks do you dislike the most? But while we're kind of talking about this, you keep throwing out the talking about lava, and so let's kind of. I think maybe for the benefit of the viewers, we ought to explain what's going on here. So we all live here in the Phoenix metro area, Mesa or whatever it is, Tempe, wherever. It's about a 2.5 to 3 hour drive to get to Flagstaff, directly north of here, and you go from a complete Sonoran desert area up to forested area, but it's a different kind of forest because up in the Flagstaff area, it's very volcanic. There's actually a national monument called Sunset Crater National Monument, where there's a bunch of volcanoes, dormant volcanoes there. But the topography of that area is kind of we're high plains, with a whole bunch of places where there's cinder cones. Is that the best way to describe it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, yep. The largest, and it's also the largest stand of ponderosa pines in the world, right?
Yeah, it is. Pandora Pine.
I think you'd say that just north of Flagstaff, very forestry area, but as you get more and more north, it gets less and less foresty and turns into more of the desert plain ground with these volcanic cinder cones or formations.
Yeah, and so there's two things involved there. So you have like the cinder cone, which is really a pain in the butt because you're when you're going uphill, it's like taking 2 steps forward and 1 back on every step, right? So there's that, but then there's also this
Yeah.
lava flow stuff where they'll completely tear your boots up in one activation if you get into the wrong kind of lava flow, because that stuff is just really jagged, right?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like jagged
You-
glass sometimes.
I think each person develops their own technique of trying to climb up these things. It can be incredibly frustrating, but it's also incredibly uh, leg muscle intensive.
Yeah.
If you can get up these things, you're going to feel it the next day. That's for sure.
For sure. Yeah.
Plus the views from a lot of them up in Flagstaff too are just fantastic, because they're just high
Yes.
enough to get you above the the forest below, and you can see forever. You were talking about A1 earlier, and I activated A1 in the evening when the first time I did it, right around sunset, and I remember sitting up there and saying, I wish I had my hammock with me. I'd throw it up and I would probably just sleep up here. It's just that kind of a summit. It's real peaceful. The view is fantastic. It was nice. I liked A1 a lot.
It was one of my first ones where I actually planned it out. Didn't find a lot of documentation, but researched it, made my own plan of attack and my own climb or what direction I was going to do it. Then getting up the fall summits to the top, I was really happy I was able to execute that and not have any troubles at all and get to the top and get some good activations.
Cool.
I never did A1 until this year, and that is an incredibly nice hill to do. It's kind of a bummer that I haven't done it more often, but it's definitely on the list for next year. It's a great mountain to do.
Okay, let's go ahead and
And
go ahead, Robert. Yeah.
I just wanted to say to even the regular SOTA guys that look at some of these lesser summits. I don't even want to say lesser summits. Some of the summits that are a little north or a little less visited, there are some amazing views and some amazing experiences on those things.
Okay, let's get to it then. So, what is your least favorite summit or summits, and why? And then kind of tell us maybe if there's any fails that you've had or close to fails, and talk about that for us.
Least favorite ones. I think it was Wing, where it was just uphill trudge, and a lot of falling over, wet, ugly stuff to get to the top. I had planned on an easy activation that day. I drove up. It's one of those, you look at it, you go, okay, where's the trail? There's no trail. There's no way to get up. And you know that it's just going to be hump, and hump all the way up. And I really don't like to say that it was my least favorite. It may not be the first one I visit this year, though.
Yeah, it's not I've only done it once.
Yeah, that was a one and done for me, and I had the same experience Robert did, and
Did
I
you?
did. Well, there was a day that I think I shot for doing 5 summits up in Flag, and that was the middle summit that I did, and it actually almost killed the whole day. But the next two were Saddle and Horny Toad, so that helped let me make it through. But man, I did not like Wing either.
Yeah,
It was just a straight up
Oh,
climb.
just-
There's no way to do it other than go straight up the side.
There's been more than a couple of summits where you start out on, and I think Black was one of them. Doyle was one of them. A couple other ones that were very rugged or very uphill. you just say, how am I going to be able to do this? You know, you do 20 steps and you just go, oh my Lord. But then you do another 20 and you just get into that psychology that you do another 20, let me do another 10, let me do another 30, maybe I can do it. And sooner or later you get up there. It's just a mindset that you look at it, you go, oh, wow, how am I going to do this? Well, you start off and see how far you can get up and go from there. All the summits that I tried to do, I succeeded in. The only one that I didn't succeed in lately was one that I've been trying to activate that's over in Athens or Anthem, and that's Gavilan. That's I think it's only a 2-pointer, but it's a big one. So I think I finally found a way up. We'll try it again.
Cool. All right. So let's. You said you had some videos you wanted to show and show some of the stuff you've been doing then.
Sure. Let me see if I can get those going here. A couple of them anyway. Let's try.
Tell us what. So what's the first one going to be on?
This one I'm trying to bring up here is SP Mountain.
Oh, that's the one I wanted to see.
Yeah, the one we were talking about. So let me see if I can.
Yeah, that one's great. As I saw a photo or two that Robert had of that, and that's one that I definitely want to do. It's a great looking mountain.
So are you seeing?
Yeah, we see all these, all of your files there.
That's not what we want to see. We want to see the video. So here we go.
I see the. Yeah, there we go.
All right, this is SP Mountain top. Quite the view. It's cold up here. Contacts about. It's an amazing view.
And windy.
All about crater.
Yes, a very, very windy, very, very cold.
Look at that crater! Wow.
Wow. That's amazing.
It's an amazing view. And to see the lava trail behind it, it's even more breathtaking.
So you can walk all the way around that rim, right, Robert?
Yes.
Look at that. What a view.
And of course, as usual, it's windy. It's always windy up there.
Yeah. See what else I got here. How about
Doyle?
the
Yeah.
top of Doyle?
2 o'clock, starting to get a little cloudy. It means I got to get out of here.
That's Fremont.
It's an amazing hike. This is like
That's the highest point in Arizona, right there. You're looking at, right?
Yeah.
Humphreys.
Get over there to see that side. Get down.
Yeah, that's a
This is
great
Doyle.
looking mountain.
This is Doyle.
This is my setup here. I was breaking it down here as the sun's getting clouded up now. So
Now,
my clue to get out of here.
this is an incredible summit to up. The reason why it's so difficult, I think, in some cases, is it's an 8-mile hike just to get to the summit. And then from the saddle, looking up at Doyle, it's an incredible summit to have to climb. So you're tired from, the 8 miles just to get there. and then have to go up and set up and activate and then come back down safely. It's quite the endeavor. That was 11 hours for me. I'm a slow walker. I can walk, continuously, but that was about 11 hours to get out there, up and down, and then back to the my vehicle, long one. Let me see if I can do another one here.
People in the chat room are saying those were amazing views on both of those.
Way down the mountain.
This is.
Thought it's stopping. Quick one.
I wish I could.
You tell the trail. See the trail way down there?
You can see here the little piece.
The
You can
rocks
barely
is
see
what
it.
I'm heading down from what I bushwhacked up to the
That's
top of Doyle Peak.
That's the Weatherford Trail. And look at the rubble. This is what you got to go up and down.
It's like going up. Not for the meek
Ugh.
heart, I'll tell you.
A lot of screed.
Real careful.
And when was this? Was this in November, September?
Yeah, just a couple of months ago. And I've got to apologize to everyone that I am not a photographer, but I try to remember to take pictures. There's summits I go up on. I don't even remember to take pictures.
We got to see Mount Doom, don't we?
Sure, we'll see Mount Doom.
All right. Mount Charlie 76. This is my goat summit.
It's amazing. You have all kinds of mountains with a lot of forest on them and stuff like that, and then you have something like Mountain Doom, and it's just pretty barren. It's pretty amazing.
Really get here, but well worth it. You can see the other 8 pointers around here.
All those cinder
Come
cones.
back and do them all. I get a chance. I think I'm about done for this trip. My body can't take it no more.
That was after 7 days of 2 to
Beautiful
3
day to get it
activations.
done, though.
Yeah.
That was the 7-day SOTA swing, huh?
Overly.
7 days of SOTA.
Very nice.
The end of the year bonus extravaganza.
I set up here at this tree.
Did you tie off to that little scrubby tree there, Robert? Is that what you ended up doing? There's not much there, huh?
Yeah, that's right where the activation zone was. So I put it up there and tied it off.
So for the viewers, this is just really typical. The wind. I mean, every time you go up to Flagstaff, any time of the year, it's pretty much between 20 and 60 mile an hour winds, depending on how lucky you get.
And it's always worse in the afternoons.
How about just another one here? How about this is on the way up to Sitgreaves.
All right, 2 hours in, 10 o'clock. This is what the first fall summit looks like. I still got a little bit of a hump up to the top here. Looking forward to get this one done. I'm pretty tired.
Air was a little thin.
It's been pretty much uphill whole way. Beautiful place though. Haven't heard a single noise or nothing out of nothing.
And
those are the kind of mountains I enjoy, the more heavily forested ones.
And then, of course,
all right. This is, hope, the last of the summits I come up on. Yeah, this is it. Top of Sitgreaves.
A nice little meadowish.
Kind of eerie coming out on clearing.
I see the tree I'm going to tie it down to when I get there.
Yeah, right in the middle there.
You may
about
think differently with the
2.25 hours.
ladybugs.
There's that wind again.
Look what you see here. Let me get my shadow the other way. Here it is. The landmark, the stamp. Sitgreaves. And it is something. Quite the view.
Amazing how open it is right at the top too.
Yeah, it's like a little bald spot. It's quite eerie because everything else is covered.
I thought there might be a geocache up here somewhere too, but
Nobody
not
goes
seen
there.
it.
I have not ran
Hawks.
into as many
Bear
geocaches on
signs,
mountains
some
as
scratches,
you would think.
fresh elk markings. As far as anybody being on the top, it's me. All right, let me rest up and get set up. We'll see who's on there.
Okay, Robert.
And that was really
Yeah, cool. You know what? We're gonna switch gears here and go to Brian here real quick, so he can talk about VHF contest. But thank you for those videos. There's some good stuff there. And again, I want to say congratulations to you for a stellar job. I'm so glad that you were able to get your goat, and that all of us could chase you on certain summits on the way there, and to be a part of it. It's quite an accomplishment. And so appreciate you being on the show. And we appreciate you being our friend in the SOTA community.
Yeah, I just want to thank all you guys too. Charlie, you've always been there for advice. Dan, he's been with me. We've been working the summits together to get our goats about the same time. I'd always hear from Dan when he's on a summit, and I, always tried to activate with him. Brian, you've been there. Pete, Keith, really big thanks to Keith. He's always on a summit too, so I always had somebody to talk to out there in Flagstaff.
Cool.
Just an amazing experience.
Yeah, it is, for us who have achieved. I guess we all have here in this chat. So let's shift gears real quick. We were almost out of time, but I really wanted to give some time for Brian to kind of talk about what he did today. So go ahead, Brian.
So my day started at I got the trailhead about 8 a.m. about an hour later than I originally wanted to, but I had something at home that kind of hung me up. So not a bad hike. I've done this. This is the third or fourth year in a row that I've activated this summit for the VHF contest because of where it's located. It gives a great view down into Tucson, and then pretty much covers the entire valley. Few little restrictions, but it works really well for the contest. I haul a very heavy pack for this contest. It's the only time I break my like 25-pound rule. It's close to 50 pounds the pack when it's all said and done. 2 transverters, a radio, a bunch of antennas. I even bring a computer to log with because it's usually fast and furious with the contacts. So very busy, very, very busy. I had 110 contacts between multiple bands. We had a total of activator-wise, there were 19 summits on the air in Arizona today for the VHF contest. 19. We had 6 rovers that you could work on multiple bands. It was a lot of fun. I really actually look forward to the VHF contest almost every year now, just because this January event is such a big deal. It's an absolute melee, and it's a blast.
Let's break it down here real quick. So what we have is the VHF contest, which is portable ops, but we've kind of here in Arizona combined the VHF contest with SOTA. And so, like you said, 13 peaks, is that right? With people being activated simultaneous.
19.
19.
One
Okay,
niner.
19 people up on 19 summits being activated simultaneously, kind of like the thing we do in the fall. In addition to that, we add into the component of the VHF contest where we have rovers and chasers who are working a contest. And then on top of that, most people who are on peaks are carrying at least 3 bands, different band capabilities, up to 6, right?
Yeah, I think there's about 3 or 4 activators that have everything from 50 megahertz up to 1296, but everybody else has a combination of 3 or 4 other bands below that: 6, 2, 440, 220. For those unfamiliar with the contest, different bands give you different multipliers, so having some of the other bands helps if you're actually, go entering it within the mind of competing.
So I was chasing today. It was melee. I mean, it was cray. It was wow. It was amazing though at the same time.
Yeah, by 7 o'clock,
no,
the
it's-
radio was really lit up when I first walked into the ham shack this morning. I couldn't believe the amount of traffic.
Yeah, I had a contact on 6 meters with up in the Havasu area, California. I worked down into Tucson on a couple of on 1296 and on 33 centimeters. So it really good time. Just if you really like VHF and figuring out how far you can go with what you can haul up on the hill, it's really neat. I've slowly enlarged my station. So first year was just 6 meters, 2 meters, 440, 220. And FM on 220 only. Now I've graduated to, I have a transverter for 220, I have a transverter for 1296, and I have an HT that's capable of doing 900. And the sideband contacts on 1296 are really neat because you get quite a distance on that with only 2 watts and a little 5-element Yagi. I was able to work 97 miles down to Tucson without any trouble.
Cool. All right. Well, I guess reach out to Brian or Dan or myself or Robert if you want to know more about how you might be able to do that next year in your own area. I mean, some places not real conducive to it because of the weather, but you still could. But I know Southern California and the Bay Area, they were kind of starting the beginnings of doing something like this, and maybe next year it'll even be bigger for them too. So just get out there and try to gather some people together and do something fun. It's a great time to do portable ops in the winter if you have the means. So I guess I'm gonna wrap it up here. We're a little over time, but again, Robert, congratulations, and I appreciate you being on board here. And thanks for joining us. Maybe we'll have you on again when you become a super shack sloth and get your 10,000 points on the Shack Sloth. I just wanted to mention real quick. I think we had some people. Malin, VE6VID, he got Mountain Goat since we last met. Greg, W7GA got a Mountain Goat here recently, and so did Stu, KB1HQS. So congratulations to them, and to Keith, KR7RK, who got 10,000 summit to summit points. So good work to you guys as well. And so with that, I'll let you all say goodbye, and then we'll call it good. So we'll take it over to Dan, then Robert, and then Brian, and then we're out.
73, everybody.
73, everyone. Thanks again for having me on.
7-3, everybody. We'll see you all in 2 weeks.
See you later.